I'm Tasha.
And I'm Fallon.
And together, we're the hosts of No Roadmap with Tasha and Fallon.
It's a podcast where two black women have real, random talks.
We cover everything from hobbies to relationships, pop culture, and social issues.
We don't shy away from the tough conversations, but we also like to have fun and be ourselves.
So join us every other Thursday as we share our thoughts, stories, and experiences.
You never know where the conversation might take us, but we promise it'll be worth it.
No roadmap, just real random talk.
So what do you say, Tasha? Are you ready to hit record and get started?
Let's do it, Fallon. Let's give the people what they want. Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of No Roadmap with Tasha and Fallon. I'm Tasha.
I'm Fallon.
And we are happy to be back at the table.
I know.
It's been a minute.
It's a lot of it was my fault, but
Life has been lifing.
You too, as well.
You blame me?
You too.
You blame us?
Yes.
What did we do?
He was like, oh, well, I'm in producing hell, so give me a break.
He was producing that fabulous production of Grand Horizons at Chatham. It was really good. It was so good.
I missed a lot of shows.
But you didn't miss Head Over Heels.
I did not.
And that's what counts.
That was fantastic.
Thank you both again for coming. It was a great time.
I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did.
But you did, right?
Loved it.
Did you know anything about the show before you came?
Nope.
No?
Nope. That's how I like to see shows.
See,
I like
that.
Blind.
Yeah. You come completely unawares.
Exactly.
And then you're pleasantly surprised.
Exactly. No expectations.
No expectations. This could be great. This could be garbage.
Did we talk about Lowered Expectations?
We did not.
On Mad TV? Remember Mad TV?
Lowered Expectations.
I'm pretty sure we talked about that before. And he keeps
we
notes.
did?
We did.
Okay. Thank
but
you,
that's
producer.
Literally, I don't want to have lowered expectations. I want to have no expectations.
Okay.
That should have been the title for the show.
No expectations?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? We're not rebranding.
We're not rebranding. It is what it is. There's no
Here
roadmap.
we are.
Suck it up. We already have merchandise. Well, we don't, but we will.
We will. Oh, that reminds me. I should get the merch together.
Would you please?
I will.
That'd be fabulous. So today's topic. Speaking of head over heels, today's topic is celebrity deaths and I'm gonna make the connection. It's coming. Holds one.
Stop it.
I'm gonna make the connection.
Thank goodness I wasn't drinking my tea because I would have spit it out all over the floor.
It's all gonna come full circle. I said speaking of celebrity deaths and head over heels in the same breath because it was during our final show during intermission that I learned that Matthew Perry had passed.
Oh.
And it completely dampened my mood for the rest of the show.
Really?
It really did. And one of my castmates legit started tearing up.
Oh.
Right? And it got me to thinking, what is it about these celebrities that when they pass, unexpectedly especially, we take it so hard? Some people really are affected by this.
I think it depends on where you were in your life and how that celebrity affected your life. So if you think about the people who grew up with Friends and how that was your life, your humor for so many years and still is.
Still is, 25 years later.
Yeah. Some of that. I wasn't a huge Friends fan, but I still watched enough of it that I get the references, and I'm not great at the Friends trivia game.
Right.
But I can hold my own because I've seen enough of it.
Right.
But for people who that's the show you watched and you always watch it when it comes on syndication,
That's me.
Changes you.
I am people.
You are people?
I am people.
That's fantastic.
I remember when it debuted in 1994. I was living in the city in an apartment with 5 other people.
But they also had no black people.
They
in that
did
show,
not. They had a few black folks. But
it's not always Gregory Hines.
No. Well, Gregory Hines wasn't in Friends. He was in Will and Grace.
Again, no black people.
No, they had Aisha Tyler,
2
Sherry
people.
Shepherd,
3.
Jennifer Lewis. Hold on. They had some black folks on there now. Now,
so
granted,
who was the black person?
Gabrielle
in Friends?
Union. There wasn't no one black person that was recurring or a regular co-star. No,
or
it was
in the shop or walking down the street.
That is not true. In the first 2 seasons, one of the background actors was a black girl.
Stop it. One. That's fine.
She worked at Central Perk.
I wish we were.
Jennifer Lewis played a chef who worked alongside Monica in the very first episode when Monica sleeps with the wine guy.
That's one episode at the very beginning, and then
Sherry Shepherd she worked at the museum with Ross and Joey.
2 people. I should not be able to count the black people.
I'm just saying. Janet Hubert played Chandler Bing's boss before he went off to Tulsa.
I should not be able.
Listen, I understand, and that is fair. However, Friends, even though it's problematic, and we all say it's a ripoff of Living Single. Well, those of us who are avid Living Single.
Oh, that show was
fans.
so good.
We say it was basically a ripoff of Living Single, done out of the same studio, right? But I was following Matthew Perry before that.
Okay, what was he doing before that?
Before that, he had done a couple of guest stints that I'd seen him in, but he had this show called Second Chance that used to come on Fox.
Wait, there's a sitcom I don't know about?
There's a sitcom Matthew Perry starred in where he played a character named Chaz. And what he was the younger version of the main character, Charlie, who winds up dying and coming and getting reincarnated and coming back to help guide his younger self through life so that he doesn't fall into the same pitfalls that Charlie ends up falling into and dying at a fairly early age.
I'm going to have to find
And Matthew Perry played the younger version of the main character.
Wow.
Which is kind of funny in a full circle moment because he also did that movie 17 again with Zac Efron where he plays the older version of Zac Efron.
Where are you pulling these? These are things I've never heard
See?
about.
This is what I'm saying.
I'm learning so much.
And then, obviously his stint on West Wing and then Sunset Strip, live from the studio with Sunset Strip with Brad Whitford, who I'm also a big fan. So, I've kind of followed Matthew Perry here and there a little bit. But he is just like the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
It's like, it really just sort of got me in my feelings. And I'm like, well, dang, there were a few celebrity deaths that hit me really hard.
Yeah.
The big ones. Whitney. Cried for days when Whitney Houston died.
Yeah, that was emotional.
Oh my God. And then watching her funeral on TV. I couldn't. Was a wreck.
I couldn't.
I was no good. I couldn't listen to her music for like 3 months.
I'm barely, I try not to watch those things because I cannot wrap myself in that emotion. For someone I didn't personally know. I try to remove myself from that because life is sad enough as it is.
It is.
And I can't add to the negativity in my, Michael Jackson's funeral. I couldn't.
I watched that too.
And, oof.
Major life events, right? Do you know where you were when you found out Michael Jackson had passed?
I was in my hotel room at a bed and breakfast in Cape May, New Jersey.
Lovely.
I took my husband. It was an anniversary trip. And it's one of the few trips that I actually planned, so my husband's very excited. I had a whole itinerary. And this was, honestly, before the days of really GPS. And so he was driving, so I just printed out the directions for him without telling him where our final destination was, which was kind of fun. And we were on our way out for the evening. It was early in the day. So we're out, getting ready to go out, and our friend texted us, and he was like, Michael Jackson died. And I'm like, you are a liar.
You have bumped your head.
Why would you say that?
Right. Don't put death on that man.
Right.
Except.
And he's like, turn on the television. And we turned it on. And I was like,
what is
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I stopped breathing for a second. And we stayed in all the rest of that day and just watched old Michael Jackson and Jackson 5 videos.
Now, do you remember that Farrah Fawcett died earlier that day?
Nope.
Because most people don't.
Right.
Get out of my brain. Alan and I are always on the wavelength. I was down at Fort Dix. My husband was deployed, so he had a domestic deployment down at Fort Dix, and Aaliyah and I were down there. And earlier that day, it had come on the news that Farrah Fawcett had passed from cancer.
Right.
Sad, oh no, Charlie's Angel, Farrah Fawcett was just like, that's too bad. The hair, the iconic blonde, hair. We're at the park some hours later. And my friend Jamie calls me. And he's like, sit down. And I'm like, sit down? Why am I sitting down?
Yeah,
that's kind of weird.
Right.
Hello? Sit down. You sit down. Why am I sitting down? And he's like, Michael Jackson died. I said, Michael Jackson who?
Stop
Because it can't be Michael Jackson. It was Michael Jackson. And I'm like, nuh-uh. And he goes, turn on the radio. And I turned on the radio and every single station was playing Michael Jackson music. And I was like, no, this can't be true. I threw Aaliyah. I'm like, we gotta go. And Aaliyah's like, come on. She's like, come on the swings. I'm like, well, come back later. Threw her in the car, drove back to the house, turned on the television. It was everywhere. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. It's crazy to me that I can recall where I was when I learned that Michael Jackson died, Whitney Houston died, Prince died, Aaliyah died, Kobe Bryant died, Chadwick Boseman, Tupac, Biggie. Like, I remember where I was when I learned of these people passing.
You know, it's funny. I sat and I thought about that. Like, whose deaths do I remember where I was? Mm-hmm. And out of your list, only 3 of them I really remember was Michael, Chadwick. Mm-hmm. We were driving to Minnesota. We're in a car when we found out. And Kobe, we were on vacation in Jamaica.
Isn't that bananas?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like it's like saying I know where I was when the Challenger exploded.
Right.
I know where I was when 9/11 happened.
Right.
Like, why do these things stick in my brain? They just do. I was at home watching TV and it came across the ticker at the bottom that Whitney Houston had been found dead in a hotel room. And before I had a chance to reach for my phone, it was ringing because people know what Whitney means to me.
Right.
And my mother had called and she was like, "Are you watching this?" And I was like, "This can't be true."
Right.
And I turned on CNN and Don Lemon is reporting live. And I'm like, what is happening? Mm-hmm. I'm at the hair salon and my cousin calls me. She's like, "Prince died." Prince who?
Right. Because it doesn't make sense.
Purple Rain Prince. And I immediately was like, I need to call my drummer. Because he is a huge Prince, like super fan. I'm like, he is not going to be okay.
No.
I need to call my drummer. When Aaliyah died, Jamie, Aaliyah's godfather, one of my best friends, was a fanatic about Aaliyah. Tattoos, framed pictures, everything. He calls me up and he's like, "Hey, have you heard that Aaliyah died?" I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" He had me on the phone for literally 8 hours.
Wow.
Until MTV News Live confirmed that Aaliyah had died in a plane crash.
Right.
He was devastated. That's how my daughter got named Aaliyah.
Right.
In honor of him.
Aww.
And he loved her. It was one of those teenage crush loves, but we were adults where he was convinced he was going to meet Aaliyah and he was going to marry Aaliyah.
Oh.
And it was like, no, you're not going to do that. Bro, you're not doing that.
I think some of it has to do with when these celebrities die, it tends to be not of old age.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. And does it make you feel your own mortality?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. When you think about, Robin Williams.
Yes.
Who, as it appears, was full of life, but was so severely depressed. Mm-hmm. And was hiding that from so many people.
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger.
Yes, I have all these down here.
Right.
Heath Ledger, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Anna Nicole Smith, Paul Walker.
Right.
It's like, what is happening?
I'm going to ask our wonderful producer to look up the poor child who was in Star Trek, and he played Chekhov.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
And
Anton.
Yeah, do the work.
Yes.
And
I see his face.
You see his face.
Yes. And then the way he died was
like
just
getting checking his mail, and the car wasn't parked.
Yeah, and it's like.
Yes, Yelkin.
Yes. Anton Yelkin.
Yelkin. Yes. And then when, oh my gosh, the near misses also bother me when, I can't stand that phrase near miss because it's just a miss. Mm-hmm. Anyway, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name?
The cow.
Hawkeye.
Yes, Jeremy Renner.
Right. He could have been next on that list.
He could have.
Freak accident.
Yep.
Involving a snowplow.
Yeah.
So it makes you think about, well, what am I, I'm just, not just, but I'm
a regular Joe Schmo.
Right, living out my life, and at any second, it could end.
It could end. And I don't think people really understand. I mean, I know when death happens close to you in that moment,
right,
you're like, relish life and love the people that are close to you. Because, today could be, you don't know, tomorrow could be your last day.
Right.
And we're in that for 48 hours.
And then poof.
And then we're back to taking things for granted, right? So I know for me, particularly Whitney's death, because I came up with Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I watched her become the rising star she became, and then I watched her fall from grace. And I feel like I kind of went through that journey with, because, addiction doesn't run in my family, but it's present in my family and in people that I know and I love. I understand the struggle. And when you see someone struggle as publicly as she did, on top of having her marriage to Bobby Brown and it being so sensationalized, to see it in this way.
Yes.
And then to turn around and 3 years later, her daughter dies of very similar circumstances. It's just like, that is just, it tears my heart out. I'm a mother of a young adult.
Right.
So I understand Whitney's probably having this prior to her dying. Or maybe she doesn't think about this. Maybe she didn't think about this kind of stuff. I always think about, like, how will my daughter handle when I go on? My fear is she's going to completely lose it.
Yes.
And then something very similar. Like, that is a real fear of mine. And I pray that the people around her have enough compassion and urgency to cocoon her and protect her. But I also want her to be strong enough to kind of just come out of it. I don't know that she can. I'm hoping she can. I'm praying she can.
Has she dealt with death of someone close?
The closest that's come to, I mean, yes, she's known people who were in her life semi-regularly, who have, my Aunt Dorothy, when my Aunt Dorothy passed in 2016, that was really hard for her. One of her girlfriends growing up, they were always together. When her grandfather died, she kind of took that personally. When my uncle George passed, this August, and just from seeing me deal with it, she's kind of dealing with it, but it's never been anyone that's like been super, super close to her. So she hasn't had to deal with it on that level.
Well, my daughter's so young, talks about death a lot. Right. I don't know if that's a regular kid thing or if she's just weird.
She's unique. I wouldn't call her weird.
She's weird like her mother. It's fine.
I would call you weird.
Claim it.
But I wouldn't call her weird.
Oh, you don't have the conversations with her.
No, I don't.
She's she likes to say odd. She doesn't say odd.
Odd.
Odd. Like, where's that accent from?
Odd.
Odd. It's so odd, Mommy. I'm like, odd. Odd.
It's
fine.
odd.
Whatever. We'll let it go. But she still has a great grandmother. Like, she hasn't lost anyone. She gets the concept of death.
At 5.
Yeah. It was.
Well, when is she's 6 this month, right?
Yeah. Ugh. I can't. She's like, I want to be 6. I'm like, you act like you're 3. Figure it out. And she's like, I'm not a baby.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Because she's losing her mind. That's beside the point. Anyway, love you, honey. I don't know if she's prepared for it when it actually happens. I mean, she lost her mind about that moth that died.
But are we ever prepared for it?
I don't know.
Even when you know it's coming, are you prepared? Like, I knew my uncle was going to die.
We know everybody's going to die.
I know, obviously, I mean, outside of the realm of knowing that we're living to die. Yes. Right? Like, we know death is inevitable. We know that that's how we're all going to go. But, like, I knew he was ill. I knew he wasn't doing well. I knew, I didn't think he was going to die while I was in travel. I feel like he played me on that.
Like,
thanks, Uncle George. You couldn't just wait. Couldn't give us just a heads up. But it's all right. I'm not angry about that.
We love you.
We love you. We miss you. Always. But I knew he wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was coming. Probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But when it happened, I was still devastated.
Right.
So I don't think you can ever really prepare.
Right.
You can brace yourself
Maybe.
But, like, really prepare yourself to a point where you're okay with it. I don't think you ever are. Well, let me not speak for everyone. I know for me, even when you know they're no longer suffering.
Right.
And they're in a peaceful place.
Right.
It's hard for me to settle with that.
I think when people who are ill and I can prepare myself for that.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. It's the sudden deaths
that knock you off your rocker. Yeah.
When my uncle had pancreatic cancer and he was in hospice for a little bit. He didn't last much longer after that. I was prepared for that.
Yeah.
I was ready to be okay. My grandmother died a week later, almost to the hour.
Wow.
That
was that her son?
Yeah. I was not.
Took you out.
I was not.
Wipe you out by your knees.
They
right?
wanted me to sing at her funeral. Like, I can't even speak.
Yeah, my uncle asked me to sing at my dad's funeral.
I can't.
It was interesting.
Because, I mean, she was 75 years young.
That is very young.
And was still working.
Right.
Like, she was just a powerhouse of a woman. And I was just not prepared.
Yeah.
So I think, back to the celebrities, it's the suddenness.
Yeah.
Of your, hanging out, you're living your life, and then all of a sudden you're gone.
And then the ones who are taken from us tragically, right?
Right.
The Selenas. I remember when John Lennon passed, and it was on the news. I couldn't have been any more than maybe 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. And watching the don't roll your eyes at me, man. Someone's got to be older than I am. Damn it.
There's somebody.
Yeah, Alan.
Oh.
I mean, in this room.
Oh, okay.
I can't always be the oldest person
everyone
I walk into. But anywho. And watching it on the news and just watching these fans lose their mind. And I'm like, y'all didn't even know this man.
Oh my gosh. When Diana died.
Princess Diana died. Okay, again, speaking about knowing where you were. When Princess Diana died, I was coming home from a party on my way to grab my bag because I was traveling. Mm-hmm. And I walk into my bedroom. Why she was in my bedroom, I don't know. But I walk into my bedroom and my mom is sitting on the edge of my bed with the television on. Mm-hmm. And it's clear she's been crying. My mother, who does not cry, by the way.
Oh.
It's clear that she's been crying. And I'm like, and the first thing I said was, who died?
Right.
Thinking she was going to be like, your uncle so-and-so, your cousin this.
Yeah.
Princess Diana. No, she said the princess died. Again, I'm like, the princess died?
Your face.
I have a cousin named Princess.
Stop it.
Stop it. And it finally clicked as I'm watching the footage
of the
coverage. And I'm like, Princess Diana died?
Right.
And she's like, it's just so tragic. It's so... My mother, who doesn't cry, is sitting here tearing up over this woman neither of us have ever met.
Right.
But her death was like her life. We had followed her life in the tabloids from the time she walked down that mile-long aisle to marry Prince Charles.
Right.
Until the divorce, moving on, Camilla Parker Bowles. We went through that whole thing with her. Like, I feel like I was her friend. In my head, she was a friend.
Yes.
And when she died, I was just so incredibly sad.
Yeah.
For a while.
Deaths, it's so funny. Deaths that still affect me, that didn't affect me because I was too young to get it. Mm-hmm. Freddie Mercury.
Because you didn't understand what the world was losing.
Yes.
When it lost Freddie Mercury.
But now I'm like, I get choked up. So the last tour that they did, we saw them
with Adam Lambert.
Yes, of course. We've been watching Adam Lambert do Queen for the last 10 years. Like, every tour they go on, we're there for it.
Right.
So we did New York, Philly, and Nashville on this tour. And
is that why you were in Nashville?
Yes.
Okay.
And every time Love of My Life happens, it's mostly as a break for Adam Lambert, who's been belting out all the songs and needs a minute.
Right.
But Brian May sings it with a guitar on a stool.
I've never heard Brian May sing. I wonder what he sounds like.
It's so good. He almost has, like, there's certain, like, Who Wants to Live Forever, that song. Brian May actually begins.
Oh.
So listen to that song, and he had his own solo stuff that we listened to. But during that song, everybody lights up their phones, and, like, it's so emotional. And then at the end of the song, it's Freddie singing that part.
Oh, wow.
And every time I cry.
Yeah.
Every time. And then we took the child to the Philly show, and the first time she saw Queen, she was a year and a half. She didn't know what was happening. She was like milk drunk and passed out.
Right. Milk drunk.
So this time, Love of My Life happens, and then Freddie comes on, and she's crying, and she's looking at me, and she's
probably not understanding the emotion she's feeling.
And she's like, "Mommy, Freddie's dead, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's just a video of him singing." And she is sobbing. Sobbing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I know, baby."
It's big emotions.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, no, I asked her if she was hurt. Like, is the sound hurting? Because I had put earplugs in her. She's like, "No, I'm not hurt." And I'm like, are you going to be okay? She's like, I don't know.
Because she's having these big emotions she's never had before,
Right.
and she doesn't understand why.
Right. Someone you never knew.
And music, someone you never knew. Mm-hmm. The music is touching you. You're seeing the people in the audience around you all having the same experience simultaneously.
I'm crying now. It still chokes me up
yes.
that much.
And it's like, that's major.
Right.
And it also talks to how music touches us all.
Right.
Right? Like I feel like the arts is the one universal language. You can be deaf, blind, not knowing what language the song is being told in, or the song is being sung. It touches your heart.
Right.
Like, how many times have I've listened to opera. I don't know what the hell they're saying. But there's something about the emotion it evokes, the music. It touches a part of me. And I feel like when we lose the giants, we lose the greats, the Freddie Mercurys, the Michael Jacksons, the Princes.
Right.
The George Michaels. I love me some George Michael.
I'm so glad I got to see him perform.
I've never got to see him perform live, but from Wake Me Up Before You Go to the very end, I love George Michael.
Same.
And when I learned that he had passed, one, he was out of the spotlight for so long. Mm-hmm. It was like, dang, what happened to George Michael? But then he died, and that was unexpected. No one saw it coming. And I woke up that Christmas morning, and I was like, what? George Michael died?
Right.
What? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's just a part of me that just doesn't quite
make the connection.
And then, the ones who died from suicide, the Robin Williamses, the Twitches. Mm-hmm. It's like, when Twitch died, we were like, what the is going on?
It doesn't make sense. And it also changes your way of perceiving, these people who seemingly have it all are still.
So, and I feel like that's the one thing that technology and social media has kind of afforded us in the last several years, right? Is this first-hand account of people's lives. Right. Because people are living out loud now. I mean, you do have some people who pull back from the spotlight, but sometimes you just can't.
Right.
And you see into these people's lives, and it's like, what is there to be sad about? Well, there's a lot to be sad about. Right. There's just a lot you don't know.
Right.
And this is what Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all these other platforms are kind of giving us this vantage point that we didn't have 20, 30 years ago.
But I don't even think it's a vantage point, because a lot of those things, it's what people, they decide what they want you to see.
But they don't always. That's what paparazzi and TMZs are for.
Oh, they're the worst.
You know what I mean? Think about it. TMZ was the one who broke the news that Kobe Bryant had died.
Right.
Before the authorities had a chance to go to his house to inform his wife that he had died.
Which is horrifying.
Which is awful.
I think they also broke the Michael Jackson story too.
Maybe.
I think so.
They broke the Matthew Perry story. It's like, are you real? Is that a claim to fame that you're the first on the scene to the point where you're completely ignoring the human nature side?
Which is why I don't love TMZ.
Yeah.
But the TMZ tour I took in New York was actually pretty fun.
So, and that's the thing, right? Like, I don't like that you do these sort of things, but I want to know what's going on. And the fact that you can tell me what's going on, it's like it's a love-hate.
Right.
I love you because I want to be in the know, but I hate you because the way you do your practices is just so questionable.
Exactly.
Yeah. But before we go, I just want to run down a couple of other shocking deaths that kind of threw me for a loop. Mm-hmm. Marvin Gaye. I remember where I was when Marvin Gaye died. I remember coming to my aunt's house.
I am not old enough.
You were probably just born maybe when Marvin Gaye died. I think he died in 1984. And he died a couple of days before my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah. Marvin Gaye, Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Cameron Boyce from the Disney Channel. Young kid. He was on Hey Jesse. Mm-hmm. Died of an asthma attack.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that really upset my daughter. Naya Rivera, Luke Perry, Steve Irwin.
Oh, my gosh.
Remember when Steve Irwin died? It was like...
Right, and the most random thing, too.
And the irony of his death.
Right.
Was not lost on me. This is going to sound bizarre because she was 99 years old, but when Betty White died...
It was...
I was heartbroken when Betty White died.
May I interject? No one's going to know who this is. Michael Cuccione was on this... He played QT on Together, which was MTV's fake boy band.
Oh.
And in the show, he had some kind of weird disease. Like, they wrote it in. But he was actually sick. And I didn't understand that he was actually sick. And then when he died, he's just a kid.
Yeah.
Like, it's just heartbreaking. There's actually this guy on YouTube who goes around and talks about, like, celebrities you haven't seen in a while and what happened to them. And one kid who was very popular in the 90s, we're going to put in the show notes because I can't remember his name.
What did he do? Maybe I know.
He was, oh my gosh, I can't remember anything right now. I'm like complete blank, but I'll put it in the show notes and maybe I'll do a little blurb after this.
Okay.
He was actually shot in LA and like...
Merlin Santana?
Yes! Thank you! I love you. I love you.
Yeah, Steve Harvey Show.
Yes, thank you.
Mistaken Identity.
No.
Yeah.
Well...
Set up?
Yes. He hooked up with some girl and he was supposed to meet her and she rolled through with two guys.
Oh, yes. I do remember hearing that was a setup.
But I didn't think about it. Like, I just like, oh, that kid, he was really great. I wonder what happened to him. And it popped up on YouTube about the story. And she's in jail now with the other people because she eventually confessed.
Yeah.
But wild.
Right.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And it's... Continue your list. I'm sorry.
No. Bill Paxton, Carrie Fisher, and Debbie Reynolds. Mom and daughter.
Right.
Carrie Fisher dies on a Monday. Debbie Reynolds dies on a Tuesday.
Right.
Like, broken heart.
Broken heart.
Broken heart. Absolutely. Bernie Mac.
Oh my gosh.
Left eye.
Oh, that was devastating for me.
I was just, what do you mean left eye died?
Yeah, exactly.
What is happening? Like, I don't know. I guess we sort of put these celebrities on a pedestal. Like, you know, if I'm around to see Madonna go, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right. Right.
It's like, what in the world? Let's see, who else was there? Kobe, Matthew, Chadwick. Willie Garson. Nobody knows who he is, probably. He played Stan Blatch on Sex and the City.
I was not I watched some Sex and the City, but not enough to know any characters outside the...
Stanford. Yeah, I was very sad when he died and shocked. Pee Wee Herman. Paul Rubens.
Devastated.
What? A piece of my childhood.
Gone.
Just gone. Yeah. So, those are the ones that come to mind for me. But, right. Yeah, I guess the whole just... You see people on TV, you read about their stories, and you get a glimpse into their lives, and you feel like you know them.
Right.
And it's funny because I always clown my mom. I'm like, you're a professional funeral goer. Whose funeral are you going to today? How do you know this person?
You know, that's a thing.
I know it's a thing.
I'm waiting for people to pay me for that.
And I'm telling you, my mom could be a professional funeral goer. Every time I turn around, she's... Now, granted, my mom's at an age where she's losing a lot of her friends, unfortunately. Yeah. But there are times when I'm like, you don't even know these people. Why are you going to their funeral? I know his auntie. And it's like... She knows the auntie. The auntie has spoken about the nephew. So my mom feels like she has a glimpse into this nephew's life. So she wants to pay her last respects. I feel like that's very similar to...
But she's not going for the auntie. Because that's what I...
Well, she's going for the auntie, too. Right. She's going to support the auntie
yes.
and, you know...
That makes sense.
Just to be a shoulder. But also, because she's learned about... She's lived vicariously through the auntie this life with the nephew.
Okay.
That she's like, you know, I feel like I have a personal connection. What's his mama name?
Stop it.
If you can't name his mama, there's no personal connection.
Right. Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
Not wrong. But she's just like, you know,
she's like, I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna offer comfort.
Does she have her like uniforms?
Yes, she does. She has her 2 funeral outfits.
Like, I'm ready.
When I see her come down the stairs and one of the 2, I'm like, who died?
Right.
Where's the funeral?
Does she have the hat with the veil though?
No, but I want the hat with the veil.
My cousin, so cute.
My cousin wore this something to my uncle's funeral.
A little fascinator with the little...
I don't know what it was, but it was the cutest little thing, and I was like, I'm stealing that.
Did I show you the fascinator I wore when I did that wedding in Scotland? I didn't do the wedding. I was at a wedding.
No.
It's super cute.
I need to see it.
Okay, I'll show you.
So I'm like, wow. But anywho... We're curious. What celebrity deaths have shaken you to the core, have hit you kind of hard?
Right.
Like, you know, share your stories with us and tell us why these particular people's passing touched you the way that they did.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm curious to know, because we can't be the only ones. Are there any that kind of stand out to you?
It was John Lennon.
John Lennon for you?
And Prince.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that they found him, like, ugh.
Yeah. And the fact that I didn't know Prince was struggling with addiction. Did you know Prince was struggling with addiction?
And, like, the constant pain that he was in.
But
He's always such a good performer.
It never showed, right?
And then you go back, there was a special about him losing his child. That whole thing.
Oh, he in My Tai?
Yeah.
Yeah. She kind of talked about that when she was on
Did she?
Celebrity Ex-Wives, the TV
I don't watch those shows.
I don't normally either, but sometimes I get dragged into it, and I'm like, oh, I'm here for it now.
So
in for a penny.
Is that one thing you watch? What are you watching now?
What am I watching now? I am watching. Isn't it amazing? She's so good.
I'm so good at this.
So good at this. I actually, because of the writer's strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike, and not a whole lot new has been on network TV.
Yeah.
I decided to sit down because, I'm a big Bang Theory fan, much to your chagrin.
Ugh.
I know. The throw
it's
up
okay.
in your mouth.
It's fine.
It's okay. Fine. I've gone back and started watching Young Sheldon.
I love Young Sheldon.
I've never seen the show.
It's so much better
than the Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
I've never seen the show. So I was like, let me watch it. I tried to watch it a couple of times, couldn't get past the first episode. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to commit to watching 4 episodes.
Yes, you have to give...
if by the 4th episode I am not invested, I'm shutting it off.
Right.
Girl, I was done.
Oh my gosh.
Up till 2:30, 3:30 at night.
Yes, because it's hysterical.
And I love all the... I didn't think I was going to like all the characters, but I love them all.
The grandma is...
Mima is one of my faves.
She is his...
But also, I love Annie Potts.
Right. She's magical.
She is. So I'm watching that.
Mima, I love it.
Reruns of Living Single, because that's just what I do. And Irrational, which is on NBC, Peacock. You can watch it with Jesse L. Martin. Nope. Do you know who Jesse L. Martin is?
Okay. He's beautiful.
He is. And the voice on that man, even his speaking voice, it's like the timbre. Just, yeah. So I'm watching that. Okay. That's what I'm watching. What are you watching?
Just saw The Marvels.
Was it good?
I loved it.
Okay.
I can see why people don't. The Marvels are fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the characters. Mm-hmm. I thought it was funny. Mm-hmm. I thought it's working its way to build the next phase of the Marvel universe.
Talking about that last night with the hubby, and he was saying how
I oh my goodness. And Loki?
Yes.
I'm still...
I haven't seen the second season, but I have to watch
the second season is it.
Is it better than the first season? Because I was so confused for the first season.
Oh, did the husband have to
He had to walk me through, explain something.
I had to do that to my husband.
Yeah, I'm so lost. But he was really excited to see Jonathan Majors in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To know that he's coming back for some stuff. So.
But it's weird now that the whole thing's up in the air.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
Is it up in the air? I thought the charges were dropped.
Charges
were not dropped.
There's a whole new upswing of charges. It's a hot effing mess.
Really?
Yes.
I need to do some more research. Okay.
But Loki is amazing. Season 2.
All right.
So good.
I'll have to catch up.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
Because I'm nerding out.
Find some time to really dedicate to it, but I will.
All right. Cool beans.
Awesome sauce. Well, this was great. Thank you all for joining us.
Yes. It was fun.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, No Roadmap Pod with Tasha. Well, it doesn't say with Tasha and Fallon, but you know
who we are.
You know who we are.
If you're listening and you don't know who we are, that's problematic.
You about to learn. You gonna learn today. But don't forget to follow us on Instagram. And at some point, I guess I'll make us.
We'll do some merch.
Well, yeah, and maybe a new profile on X. I really don't want to do X.
Aren't we? I think we're already on X.
Are we?
I think so.
Are we on X?
Oh, I think I did.
Did you?
I did it. Because we're on, what the heck is the new one? Threads?
Yes, I did see we were on Threads.
Yes, but I don't do anything. I should do more things.
We should be more active.
I can't wait for it to be integrated where I can just
do one?
Yeah.
One app?
Because even with X, if I post something on IG, I can automatically get it put on X.
Oh, okay.
Not for Threads yet. They need to figure out their lives.
I've had an IG for 10 years. I really need to learn how to use that.
I can teach you because I'm on it all the time.
I need to learn how to use it. But anywho.
I need to pay someone to do it for me.
That part. And we will one day. All right. So
if y'all pay us money, then we can pay someone else to do that work for us.
Or somebody out there who knows what they're doing can volunteer to help sisters out.
That'd be fantastic. We'll give you good references.
We sure
will.
Put
that right on LinkedIn.
And we'll keep you right. I should have Instagram Live this month. Anyway, maybe next time. At any rate, please join us for our next episode coming out in 2 weeks. We don't know what it is yet. We'll figure it out.
Figure it out. That's what we do.
Okay, but until next time, I'm Tasha.
I'm Fallon.
Thanks for joining us. Don't be a jerk. Thank you for listening to No Roadmap with Tasha and Fallon. Follow us on IG at No Roadmap Pod. Send us your questions, ideas, and reactions. Tell us all the things because we're going to tell you all the things. Until next time, bye.